This is my big update, guys. Pretty eager to go over this one. So this Saturday, we launched the Aurora 1 high altitude balloon. This is the payload module you've seen in, I think, 15 of my videos. What happened was, Saturday morning we went to launch. The surface winds were way high, and my initial launch location I had planned, which is an enclosed building, a warehouse, was out of the question. The surface winds were way too high to launch from there outside. We would have been into terrain almost immediately with that level of wind. It was about a 15 meter per second wind. So we quickly transferred out to the local airport, met up with airport management, or airport personnel. His name is Jacob. He was amazing. I've met him once before, and I can't say enough. He was eager to try and help us out, eager to see this happen. He set us up with a filling location behind one of the hangars. Stuck around to help out. We went to fill this thing up, guys, and I ran out of helium. 3/4 of the way full. And what happened from there, we were 10 minutes from our air traffic control window, who was amazing, by the way, when we set up the pilot notification called a NOTAM, a NOTAM, Notice to Airmen. They were all set. Everything was all set for a 10 a.m. launch. 10 to 10, I'm out of helium. I book it into town, grab another tank of helium, book it back out, and start filling the balloon again. Get it all set up, get all the cameras back rolling because I'd already turned them on once, and our local airport personnel was so kind as to notify via Unicom the aircraft in the area twice for us. Made me feel so much better, guys. It was awesome. Having the local aircraft being aware of what's going on was a huge plus, even though it was not required. We can launch this thing from your backyard. You don't have to even tell anyone in Canada. I don't think that's the right way to do it. I think the way we did it much better. So we lifted off. We got no GPS signals from the high altitude balloon immediately on liftoff for the duration of the flight, essentially. I was a little worried about this. It kind of put a dent in all of our enthusiasm. We went for lunch halfway to our 3/4 of the way to our predicted landing zone. We weren't in a big rush to get to the landing zone because we had got nothing from the balloon on either GPS tracker. It turned out both trackers came alive on descent, and we were able to get notification shortly before touchdown. I incorrectly put this out on Twitter. It was actually at 4,000 feet, or it was in feet, not meters, what I had put out on Twitter. I got the text messages confused because I have two different systems. One is imperial and one is metric. The thing was pretty close to touchdown, and I was getting pretty consistent data. So we carried on to the landing zone. All the while, this whole time, guys, you gave this thing a whole nother level of fun via Twitter. I had Kurt retweeting the information I was sending out, picked up another couple of followers who were engaging, sending some really cool stuff. I almost have to, I'll maybe share those at the end here. I'll pull up who was actually engaging on Twitter, because I want to show you guys this. At the end of it all, we touched down, and we were within I'd say, I think it worked out to about 16 minutes from the time it touched down to the time we were on it, and that included walking about 7 minutes across a very large cornfield. And no problem finding it. Both GPSs had it nailed down perfectly. And both cameras still rolling. So I have 900 plus still images, and I think around between my head-mounted GoPro that I only fired up twice through the flight, and the internal, I think we got well over 20 gigabytes of 1080 high def video. So it was pretty damn cool. But I had throughout, these are some of the tweets, and I had Kurt at Strange Beacon sending out locations that he was looking up via, looks like Google Earth here. And David Watts, he's another YouTube content creator. If you're not subscribed to his channel, check out David's channel. It makes some awesome Arduino and electronic stuff. But then, yeah, throughout, this was just a blast, guys. The Twitter feed and the interaction on G Plus as well, and I can't remember whether there's any on Facebook, but the live Twitter interaction was awesome, and I had never even used Twitter before, guys, up until a few months ago. It really, really made it fun because of you guys. I really enjoy that, and I thank you all for it. Had some new people join in. Like I mentioned, Kurt was sending out all the information, and even down to Jacob posting one of the pictures and turning it into a coloring book. That was just for the kids at the airport and stuff. That's just damn cool. I really enjoyed that. So that's about the extent of that, guys. At the end of it all, I have more HD video and images to go through, and I will get them up on the website. I'm not sure when. I'm going to edit probably a couple of YouTube videos. One for sure, an edited version, because it's a 2-hour flight. If anybody would like to see the entire uncut raw footage from start to finish, I'm not sure whether anybody's building a high altitude balloon out there, but if you'd like to see it raw, I can do that video as well, but I don't know how many people would really want to watch like 2 hours of balloon flight. It's pretty cool. Yeah, we'll edit it down. It should be a little bit of fun. So that's the story, guys. 4 months in the making, 15 plus YouTube videos on the building of it. The code is open source. I have posted it on my website for the data logger. The data logger worked great. I did end up having the baro sensor I haven't looked yet at the code to make sure, but it looks like it actually physically froze. It looks like we might have had ice crystals over it, but I'm not sure. I may have had up with the code where, I don't think so though, because it started working at max altitude. Backup cell phone for GPS tracking. This was texting me as well as logging internally. Although the text messages failed, the internal data logging worked, and I got a full start to finish Google Earth KML out of this. And between it and the data logger, it looks like the altitudes agree, significantly less than what we shot for. It looks like we got to about just shy of 58,000 feet. So that, knowing what I know about how we filled the balloon and how meticulous we were with the weight that we filled it to, the neck lift and the calculator, I'm pretty sure we had a flaw in the balloon. We didn't buy the most expensive name brand balloon out there, or there's a chance maybe we got contamination on the balloon, and it could have been my fault because I didn't put the latex gloves back on when I came back with a second helium tank. I wasn't handling the balloon itself, but you never know. I might have brushed up against it, and at altitude and frozen, their consensus is that any oil on the balloon technically could cause it to rupture prematurely. Regardless, we hit really high altitude, and the pictures are good, and the video is really good. So look forward to those coming up, guys. Pretty happy about that. Really excited about it. It was a lot of fun. And I should note, we landed within approximately 5 kilometers of our predicted landing zone. Man, the landing zone predictors on these things online, incredibly accurate. I couldn't believe it. We could have been under that balloon without the GPS tracking and spotted it line of sight pretty much, if we would have not kind of dilly-dallied for lunch because we were so heartbroken that we had no GPS tracking. But in the end, it all worked out. So it was a heck of a lot of fun. I was super glad I can share this with you guys. Look forward to cutting the video so you can actually see what it looks like. Thanks for following along. I really hope it helps someone someday. We have... I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Panos? For every 1,000 feet of altitude, the temperature drops 1.980 degrees C. Yeah, well, that's not 100% true. It may be a good generic guideline to go by, but it's not exactly the way it works out with the high altitude ballooning all the time. It's not a linear curve all the time. If we're interested, I can get you the exact numbers here, guys. I think we actually didn't go nearly as low as what I had expected initially. I expected about minus 60 C, but it turned out what we, with our not quite full altitude, at 58,000 feet, I had negative 33.9 degrees Celsius, and that was actually the coldest we got in the flight. There was a couple of times we went through layers that changed a little bit, and that's normal with density and cloud cover and varying air mass. But at the end of the day, at about 58,000 feet, we were down about the minus 34 Celsius range, which worked out pretty good. So I was pretty happy about that. Leroy said the video must be amazing. I'm also impressed I get off my quadcopter and it's only 100 feet or so. Yeah, I was thinking about giving you guys a sneak peek here tonight because I can actually stream it. But in all honesty, the problem is I can show you guys the video, but it's not edited, and I would have to actually fast forward little chunks because it's 2 hours of continuous shot, and it's a long haul, and you want to see the difference in altitude level. You need to kind of show just little tidbits, and it'd be really annoying to keep fast forwarding on here. But overall, it's pretty cool. From our max altitude at balloon burst, it's black above. There is no more blue. It is black. There's blue horizontal, and you can see the curvature. And from our area here in southwestern Ontario, I could see the far side of Michigan, including Lake Michigan. So that's over Great Lake Huron completely, and over an entire state. And I can see the far lake. To the south, I could see completely over Lake Erie and well into Ohio. Looking southwest, we could see into New York State, the far side of Lake Erie. And looking to the north, we could see Bruce Peninsula jutting out into Lake Huron. It's a big area. We could see a lot of coverage of Ontario. It was pretty cool. It was really, really cool. So all in all, hey, success. Little disappointed that we didn't hit our 80,000 feet though, but because we got this thing back, it's spotless, guys. We didn't even put a scratch on the bottom of this thing. It landed, it fell over on the side with the GoPro, and it didn't even put a mark in anything. So basically, a charge of the batteries, a new balloon, and a new tank of helium, and this can go back airborne again. Right now it's completely rigged and ready to go. So and I've already got the data logger, I've got the camera hacked. There's no reason we can't launch again. So we're batting the idea around about a fall launch when the air is a little clearer. I had a lot of problems with haze. The sky is really hazy here. It is indeed smog and haze, and it's the nature of our environment this time of year. Without the air movement to keep flushing the crap out of here, it just builds up, and what happens is it actually piles up along the Niagara escarpment and then moves its way to the west and just blankets us all in. It goes to a pretty high altitude. We're above it, obviously, with the balloon, but looking down when you want to see things, you're looking through a layer of smog and crap. So I'm thinking in the fall would be a really good time to try again before the crazy winter snows come. Panos said in the chat, agree, tropopause, the drop stops and the temp change inverts. This is a general rule. Yes, it actually does invert quite a bit. We didn't go quite high enough to see the inversion on the measured equipment. A little bit, you can see it. And what happens if we would have got a bit higher yet, it's kind of, well, we would have been fine. But you get into this, the solar radiation starts taking over, and that is why I did so much testing with the payload heating of this. For anybody who followed my videos, I agonized over the payload heating, because you need enough heating to get through the coldest darn area, but no more than enough that when you get to altitude, you don't cook the thing, because you've got the sun's rays just baking on this black bag, and the GoPro running, and the cameras running, the electronics running, and the heating running. And we could have very easily overheated anything. I was really happy to report the interior temperature of the HAB module never got below 14 Celsius and never went above any significant number until it was on the ground laying in the field, guys. So I hit it bang on. One disposable heater worked perfect, guys, for my setup and my installation. So if you're watching this at a later date, the one disposable heater did work with the thermal mass that I had just absolutely perfect. Nothing overheated until it was on the ground, and even then we were able to get there fast enough. I think the internal temperature was up to about 38 or 39 Celsius sitting there baking in the field by the time we got there, but the GoPro didn't shut down. Neither did the still, so pretty cool. Pretty happy about that. Panos says, and you are the best in publishing a NOTAM for low altitude, no problem, but for high altitude, no problem, but for high altitude, high speeds, it might be a problem for the inners. Keep up the good work. Yes, although not required, totally not required for the NOTAM, definitely not required for the local Unicom of the aircraft. I can't imagine doing it any other way. It's a phone call, and ATC was awesome. I didn't do anything. I emailed them the information they needed, which was really basic stuff. The balloon diameter, the ascent rate, the descent rate, the launch location. Don't need to give them estimated prediction of landing location, just the basics. Start and stop times, which is pretty easy to infer. And they were amazing. They were super cool to deal with. They actually commented that they don't get the call very often, so which I have no doubt, because it's, according to the stuff you read online for the Canadian side of things, it indicates you don't have to. I just don't get why not. So it worked out great. They were awesome, and I want to extend huge thanks to everyone working in air traffic control in Ontario, Canada. You guys rock. Please keep making it easy for people. Just super cool. Looks like the chat finally caught up. I got some other comments joined in here. Thurk said hi. Leroy said, seen something on the password thing. PC pick microcontroller on Kickstarter. Post a link on G+. Yes, please. Yeah, sorry guys. These actually backwards populated in the chat. So the comments are a little delayed. Leroy said, excellent. Hopefully I'll be around when you relaunch. Yes, I hope you are too. I don't see why we wouldn't. Other than the expense of the helium, which is to be determined, the fact that I ran out on the first tank, and it cost me a second tank. I'm not sure what the two of them are going to be final bill. It's not going to be cheap. The helium was probably, my guess, is going to be the most expensive part of this entire venture, being as how the GoPro was donated. And hey, Brett, if you're watching this, I got your GoPro back. Thank you for donating it. My question, would you like me to launch it again? Because we would love to hang on to it and launch it again, but if you want it back, it's still in one piece, so I'll put it back in the mail to you.